Miguel is a light-skinned Latino from a hard-working family who loves music like his idol Ernesto de la Cruz, a famous singer from Miguel's hometown. No one knows he got his hands dirty to reach the top. He began playing music on minibuses, then made action movies and wrote many songs. But his biggest success has always been sadly, a vegan set on him and he died. Miguel dreams of being like him, but his family hates music because a musician abandoned his great-grandmother MamiCOCO. That's why when a mariachi urges Miguel to enter a music contest and play his guitar, his grandmother gets angry and throws her sandal at him. After smothering Miguel in her hugs and beating up Dante, she takes him home, where his family insists he quit music and focus on shining shoes as family tradition dictates. To punish him, his grandma takes him to the altar, explaining that if their photos aren't placed there, their deceased loved ones won't be able to visit them in the land of the living. Miguelito doesn't care, so his grandma warns him not to be like MamiCOCO's father, who left her as a baby. Miguel dresses up as the father, so La Traviesa comes up with an idea to make Miguel give up music forever. 3 loaves of bread later, the mangy mutt finds the boy working on a handmade project, since he just crafted his own guitar inspired by his idol. After doing some mewing, he practices by imitating Ernesto's technique, until he hears a motivational phrase that inspires him to leave his family and join the music show. On the way, he nearly gets caught and hides his dog and guitar. Right before his family tells him that his grandmother decided to officially make him part of the family business, the boy gets sad, unlike his father, who even wants to get drunk to let off steam and mess with the dog. It ends with his great-great-grandmother's photo torn, showing that Miguel's great-great-grandfather, who was removed, had the same guitar as Ernesto de la Cruz. Realizing he's his great-great-grandfather, he shouts with determination, inspired.
Long live pop music!
His family discovers his secret. They scold him instead of supporting him. When he tries to play, his grandmother takes away the guitar he made with his dark hands. She asks if he wants to end up off the altar like his grandfather. Miguel replies that she always nags him about it. Offended, the grandmother destroys the guitar in front of everyone. Hurt, Miguel runs to the talent show but can't participate without an instrument. After failing to get one, he looks at his grandfather's statue and gets an idea. He crosses the cemetery to the tomb of Ernesto de la Cruz. He uses his Latino skills to break in and steal the guitar, and once it is in his hands, he decides to try it out. But the noise brings the police. He turns himself in to lessen his sentence, but the officer passes through him. Realizing no one can see or touch him except his dog and the dead, scared, he tries to escape. Miguel meets his strict family. They realize this isn't normal, but know someone who can help. MamiCOCO's mother leads him over an orange bridge to the land of the dead, where immigration detains her because her photo was taken off the altar, preventing her from visiting the living. The half manager tells them Miguel is now cursed for stealing from the stiff on their day. He must return to the living before sunrise or he'll be Venezuelanized. His blood sugar drops, but he only needs a family member's blessing to return. Mama Imelda is willing to bless him on the condition that he subscribes to ZAY and gives up music forever. Miguel agrees without being clear, so when he returns, he breaks his promise, ending up back in the world of the stiff. With no family willing to defy Mama Imelda's orders, he decides to find his grandfather. He escapes and meets Héctor, who says he's such a close friend of Ernesto de la Cruz that he has very important person tickets. Miguel kidnaps him to explain his situation and they make a deal. Héctor takes him to his grandfather and Miguel puts Héctor's photo on the altar. If either fails, there will be harsh consequences. They run off together. But Mama Imelda uses the pedal that Miguel touched so her alebrije can track his ashy elbow scent. To go unnoticed, Héctor puts makeup on him. On the way, Miguel discovers a show with which de la Cruz says goodbye to the Day of the Dead. Héctor admits he doesn't have very important person tickets, but knows where he rehearses. There, they meet aggressive Mexicans, a perfect 10 out of 10. Everyone except Ernesto, who's at a party in his mansion. Héctor asks about the event, but his friends mock him for dying from eating head tacos. Miguel hears that winning a contest at Plaza de la Cruz earns an invite to Ernesto's party. Héctor takes him to the Peruvian condos to get an instrument. Here lie those being forgotten. Chicharron is about to vanish because his photo isn't on the ofrenda. Héctor asks to borrow his guitar, but Chicharron says he must earn it by playing for him. Héctor then plays Chicharron's favorite song. This calms him, helping him accept his fate, which also awaits Héctor if not placed on the ofrenda. On a cable car, he tells Miguel he played with Ernesto de la Cruz, though Miguel doesn't believe him yet. They reach the talent contest. Miguel is nervous, so they shout encouragement to boost his confidence. When it's his turn, he begins his performance despite his nerves. As Ernesto's song plays, the audience is amazed. Dante pulls Héctor to dance and the atmosphere turns frenetic. But his family is about to find him. Miguel notices and they run off stage. A kind announcer says Miguel's family is searching for him. Héctor gets upset, thinking only Ernesto could help. He tells Miguel his whole family wants to support him, but Miguel refuses out of stubbornness to play corridos. Driven by fear of vanishing, Héctor gives him the photo to place. Miguel says, forget the photo. Now he's alone with his grandfather. Even though Dante goes into heat and he is discovered as the living boy they're searching for. The police chase him, he escapes, but Mama Imelda intercepts him. She chases him until a gate divides them. Miguel reproaches her for not respecting his passion or letting him live his life, but before leaving she admits she also loved music. The Rivera family began hating musicians when her husband chose to sing for thousands instead of being with her and their daughter, losing his place in the family. Miguelito Basado doesn't waste time crying. He slips into Ernesto's house, avoids security, and asks the contest winners to help him sneak into the event. In the crowd, he tries to reach his grandfather but fails. Using his Latino skills, he climbs a wall, pulls out his guitar, and plays an Ernesto song, capturing everyone's and his grandfather's attention. Ernesto jumps in to save him. Now he is safe, but his makeup is smearing, so he confesses to being the musician's great-great-grandson. De la Cruz is thrilled and shows him off to everyone, while Héctor, dressed like a naughty girl, sneaks into the party. Ernesto is about to bless Miguel. Unlike Mama Imelda, with him there are no conditions that compromise his dreams, but they are interrupted by Héctor, who confronts Miguel for breaking their deal and begs him to keep it. Ernesto recognizes him. They were once friends. Ernesto regrets Héctor is being forgotten, but Héctor blames him because Ernesto's famous songs were actually written by Héctor. Héctor doesn't want recognition. He just wants Ernesto to send Miguel back to the living so his photo can be placed on the ofrenda and he can see his daughter. He reminds him that on the night Héctor died, they toasted together and Ernesto promised to do anything for him. Now he asks Ernesto to keep that promise. Miguel realizes that in a De La Cruz movie, the character who vowed to move heaven, sea, and earth actually poisoned his friend's drink. Now Héctor understands. On his last night, he chose to leave the tour with Ernesto to be with his daughter. Though hesitant, Ernesto accepted and offered a farewell toast. They both drink, and later Héctor dies from testicular torsion. After poisoning his friend, he stole all the songs that later made him famous. Enraged, Héctor attacks and Ernesto calls his girlfriends to take him to the annex. Now the artist hesitates to send a witness of his darkest secret to the world of the living, so he keeps the photo in his bra. He breaks the blessing and asks his guards to throw him into a pit so that when sunrise arrives, he will be unable to reach the overworld. There, he meets Héctor, who comforts Miguel, regretting putting music before his family. Héctor has a stroke as his daughter begins to forget him. He always wanted to cross the bridge for her, gave up his music career, and wrote "Remember Me" so his little Coco, Miguel's great-grandmother, would never forget him. They are family, but if Coco forgets her father, he will vanish and can't reunite with her in this world. Fortunately, Mama Imelda arrives. Nervously, she greets her daughter's mother, though the resentment is still evident in her eyes. They are pulled out of the septic pit. On the way, Dante gets playful, and they arrive with the rest of the family. Imelda is happy to see Miguel, but soon despises Héctor. However, the boy tells her that he was never able to return after being poisoned. He taught her that no success matters more than family. He agrees to Mama Imelda's condition to return, but first retrieves Héctor's photo. Knowing he has little time before disappearing, Imelda helps them infiltrating Ernesto's concert. Dressed as affectionate women, they meet the singer whom she hits for taking away the love of her life. When Ernesto is outnumbered, he runs. His guards try to protect him but are killed and circumcised. Struggling, Imelda manages to get the photo, although by accident she ends up on stage instead of Ernesto in front of his entire audience. To avoid being caught by Ernesto's ushers, she starts singing while dodging them. But before she can escape, she is caught by the artist, who pretends this is part of the show, dancing while he snatches the photo from her. Tired, she steps on his bunion. She runs to hug her husband and give Miguel her blessing, with the only condition of never forgetting the love for his family. Ernesto grabs the child, stopping Imelda as his machismo overpowers her, then drags Miguel to the structure's edge. The radioactive dog tries to save the shoe, but his grandfather's Parkinson's is too severe to help. Ernesto, in a burst of estrogen, admits he doesn't regret poisoning Héctor. Héctor's songs surpassed his own ambitions. He didn't realize his confession was being recorded and broadcast to everyone. Horrified, they see their idol's true face. He returns to the stage and is booed. His audience was his only family, and now he has lost them. Mama Imelda's alebrije saves Miguel, but the photo sinks. The audience cheers Miguel's safety and Ernesto's removal. Héctor is deteriorating as Coco is forgetting him. There is no time to recover the photo because the sunrise will leave him destitute, so both grandparents bless him unconditionally, sending him back home. Although Miguel will try to save Héctor from the worst death of all, being forgotten. Miguel rushes to Mama Coco's room, locks them inside despite his family's objections, and tries to help her remember her father by sharing his experience. But this doesn't work. Mama Coco hasn't even been able to say a word for a long time. He shows her his guitar and directs her gaze to the last photo her parents took together, but it seems to be too late. Miguel understands. His family confronts him for disturbing Mama Coco's peace, but what weighs on him most is not saving Héctor and the fear of being forgotten. Before apologizing, he looks at the guitar. When he felt alone or needed courage, music was there. When Héctor feared disappearing from his daughter's memories, music was there. So Miguel tries one last time. His whole family is present. Those who once dismissed his talent and dreams now listen as he plays the song Héctor sang to little Coco. The memories of her father's love, of the moments they shared in life, flow through her. And thanks to every memory that was woven into these melodies, her lips once again breathe life to join Miguel in the sung promise not to forget her father. The grandmother breaks down at seeing her mother alive again through music, Mama Coco now remembers not only her daughter's name but also her father, whose letters she kept and the place her family took from him. Music allowed her to live again, at least one last time, because Mama Coco is gone. Next to her offering is Héctor, who can cross over, see his daughter again, and walk toward the living world. There, people are no longer interested in remembering the one who built success on a foundation of selfishness and empty songs, preferring to recognize the one who wrote those same songs with purpose and a true desire to impact a life. Not for the crowds, money, or fame, but the desire to impact the life of just one person. Although the Rivera family lost a loved one, they know their beloved grandmother's presence will be eternal as those we've lost remain alive and celebrate among us. Through our memories, through the essence they left us when they were here, and that way they will live on every time we remember them.